Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back again. For me, that is, for another year of Speak Your Mind. I know a lot of you are wondering for the past month where I was. You don't have to wonder anymore. I'm here now. I want you guys to settle in, take some time, call who you need to call, and let them know that the Speak Your Mind show is on, that I'm back, I'm live, I'm well. Thank you so much for those of you that were wondering and asking, when am I coming back? I'm here now. So tonight, hopefully, we can have a stimulating, as usual, conversation. I'm going to put some things out there to you. Of course, I want to hear from you. I want to get some feedback tonight. So this year, you know, last year we ended, I believe, on a good note. We ended with some positive vibes, and this year we want to continue that vibe. We want to carry it forward in a positive light. We want to look at some of the issues that are, you know, prohibiting growth and personal growth and business growth and community growth, and we want to find ways together where we can move forward. We can get our politicians and our decision makers to help us grow as a people, as a community. I mean, that's my focus this year while I'm on this show. I know many of you got a lot of different concerns, so of course, you know, the show is wide open. It is Speak Your Mind. People always look at me and say, Speak Your Mind. It's not my mind I'm speaking, it's yours. So we want you guys to call in. So, you know, again, take some time, get on the phone right now, tell your friends, your cousin, your co-workers that I'm back. My co-worker will be here, my co-host will be here in a few, so we can get this thing on. So I'm going to put some things out there, food for thought, as I like to call it. I think it's something that's important that we really need to look at as a community, as a small territory, a country such as the BVI, a very nice country. You know, a country where people, you know, 50, 60 years work really, really hard to make sure that whatever happened in the future, I mean, if some of these guys now were able to see, and women too, were able to see the growth and the prosperity the BVI is now enjoying, you know, they'll be happy. And I'm sure many of them in spirit are glad to see BVI landers, and anybody who call themselves a BVI lander are able to experience and enjoy. I mean, every day I interact with people who are constantly talking about how blessed and lucky we are, and you know how great and beautiful this country is, and you know it seems like it's so safe and it's so this. It's that way because of people like yourself, people who just want to see the best and want the best for the BVI. And those who don't want anything good for the BVI, you know, if you're from the BVI, shame on you. If you're not from the BVI, just pack your bag and go. And I'm not saying that to offend anybody. I'm simply saying that we're about personal growth, we're about community growth, we're about, you know, trying to move the BVI forward. So my first thing, food for thought, I would like to put out there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm back. So call who you need to call. The show is wide open. I'm going to open up the phone, even if I'm talking. If something that's been biting you, something that's been really troubling you, that you really want to get out there, feel free to call at any time. The number's on the screen. I'm not holding anything back this year. We're gonna put it out there. But all I'm asking, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you call the show, especially when I'm on this show, anytime you call this show and you got a complaint, bring 2 solutions or 2 suggestions with it. I don't just want to hear complaints anymore. We are a community that's, you know, proactive, progressive. We don't want to hear any more complaints. Sometimes it seems like, you know, complaints without solution, that is. You know, sometimes it seems like, yeah, we're going through a lot of issues and we don't know where to turn. So we turn to places like Speak Your Mind Show to try to get issues out there and vent a little bit. And I understand that. And I mean, I live in this community as well, so I know what it's like sometimes to feel like you're being victimized, or, you know, people are not listening to you, or the politician don't see what you see. I understand all of that. But when we call this show, please bring me some solution. That's my aim this year. Any problem you have and you think it could be solved this way or solved that way, bring those solutions to the table. All right? So again, the phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you are just tuning in. You're like, wow, you know, Sam is there. Courtney's been here for a couple weeks now. now. He's going to be in a few. So feel free to call anytime if you got something that, other than what I'm talking about, that you want to bring to the table. I'm just biting time to hear from you. So basically, I want to put out there, ladies and gentlemen, there was a news piece in the paper just a few weeks ago, maybe last week or the week before, and it related to Miss Patsy Lake and others like her who are developers, people who are doing things in the community. They have a vision. They believe that growth is needed. Obviously, if you look around, you see this country dying right now. Small businesses are dying up because a lot of us feel frustrated when we try to open up a business. We feel like those who are responsible for passing certain things don't see what we see, and they don't care to offer any type of assistance. I understand all of that. So when you look at what's been going on, Ms. Lake just opened up 2 buildings in Road Town. We have other developers, Franklin, Daly, up at Beef Island, close to the bridge, that are trying to do something to help bring, economic prosperity in the 8th district, trying to bring jobs and opportunity. He has a few spaces up there for rent. They already rented, people already want them, but he can't open up shop. We look at other developers and builders, and let me tell you something. I'm going to say this, and I want you to hear me carefully because I don't want nobody to misquote what I'm saying. I admire these people that I'm about to talk about. I admire them because they're smart, they're BV Islanders. Some of them family came from all over the world, but they born and raised here, and they see a future here, and they believe in building. So I admire them. Nobody's talking anything bad about them. We are admiring them. People like James Z, Ashley Ritter, Romney Penn, Patsy Lake, Colin O'Neill, all of our BV Islanders who are out there spending their money to build and develop, create opportunities and jobs and employment for people who don't have any other way. They're looking for growth. They believe that the BVI is going to be successful if we continue to grow. And these guys are not big businesses. They're not multi-billion-dollar operation. They're smart business people. And we should do whatever it takes. And let me not forget the people over in Cane Bay. All of my friends are over there. Keto Reimer, the Reimers, them. Myets and those guys, the guy who owned all the little small hotels and boutiques and so forth. You got to understand, when these people decided years ago to go invest money into whatever it is they're investing in, and you look at how they're doing now, we should be all happy. We should be marveling in their success, because their success is our success. So I admire all these people, and I want to encourage these people to continue to do what they're doing. So therefore, when I see stories about Miss Lake being frustrated about, people trying to stop her, I understand what she's saying. And I don't want to sit here and pass blame on anybody, especially the bureaucracy, the people who are in charge of the bureaucracy. What I'm going to say is that the people who are in charge of these different organizations, they should, in addition to enforcing law, because I know a lot of you are by the book. And that's great. We need that. We need you to continue to protect and make sure that we develop in the right way that's conducive to good growth, to good health, and all that stuff. We understand that. But every time you get a plan, I'm talking about town and country now, every time you get a plan to look at, to approve, consider the people who are doing it. Consider what else they're bringing to the table other than a structure. And we're talking about people who are developing businesses, opportunity for financial services, for other businesses to come in and do business in our country. We're talking about people who are sitting around here looking for work. We're talking about young people such as myself and yourself who are looking for a little retail space. And you got people like Patsy Lake and Romney Penn and all these guys are putting structures in place so you and I could have a space to do a little business. You guys who are in charge of these departments, sometimes you got to sit back and you got to weigh the good and the bad. And you got to ask yourself, besides just building a building, what else are they doing? Is it good for the economy? Is it good for the territory? You know, I find it kind of pitiful when the premier has to write a special letter to override decision made by the board, when the board should be looking at all of these aspects. And you know what? I'm going to put something out there. You know, there was a gentleman that, you know, sometimes we see differences, we have our odds and so forth. And I'm going to call his name because his name was in the paper. And it's Mr. Gaskin. You know, Mr. Gaskin, I agree with you. I thought that the comments that you made was really, really powerful. I thought that, excuse me folks, my phone is ringing. I forget to turn my phone off. But yeah, I thought that your comment was really good. They were powerful. They were right to the point. And I'm happy to see somebody like yourself that step up. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say people like you, people like yourself need to step up more and do more. I'm going to get to that a little bit more. Let's get to the phone. We got a call. Y'all speak your mind. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good evening. While on the topic of development, I just want to put in a spike here for Mr. Albert Fred.
Oh, yes.
Some time now have been trying to set up a medical facility right across the street from the same Patch Lake area that she just put a new building.
Absolutely.
And with all of what she went through, I mean, we're still killing our own bigger lander who's there trying to do something.
And that's the point.
He has a building that he wants to put on it that is going to bring medical tourism into this country. This man has proven over the years to be consistent with his delivery of service to this country, and it is very unfair that at this point in time in his life, when he should be in cruise control, that we are giving him all hell to put up a building that is going to hire all the young people that is leaving school and stuff like that, and all, you know, it's just wrong.
Carl, I agree with you. I agree, and this is the reason why I brought this up, and I'm glad you opened up this conversation because, you know, again, I'm saying the people who are responsible should weigh all the ins and outs, the cost, the benefit to the entire economy, the benefit to growth, the benefit to opportunity for young people like you just said. We got a lot of our young people. I was surprised in the hospital. We got about 5 or 6 local doctors down there. And I understand we got more coming. They need a place to go. They need a place to go, and I didn't mean to forget Mr. Fred because, as a matter of fact, he was one of the people I had on my list to mention, and I think it's a shame. And you know, Mr. Fred just opened up a brand new location in East End. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fred. Now people coming out of Trailers Bay, coming from Scrub Island, just need to go to a clinic, a good clinic with qualified doctors. Don't have to rush go to Rotong. Thank you. You know, that's what it's about, my friend. And you know, the bottom line is that BVI lenders from our government, past and present, are still being treated. And when I say government, I ain't just talking about the politicians now. I'm talking about the bureaucracies. I'm talking about the people who represent the government agencies, the entities, the different departments. You're treating your own like a second-class citizen. While we're giving millions of dollars in concessions and free tax import on things they bring in, we're treating our own people with this type of behavior, and it's wrong, and it needs to stop.
I just want to say that I look forward to seeing this man be able to make progress sometime in the very near future, if not next month.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's very wrong for that kind of behavior to be continued to be happening in our country. Because you can't go another place to turn about this country and develop cause. You understand? And I don't put in a spike for Ariel because I see this man pay.
Yeah. I
see this man pay. You know, and he ain't giving up. So I see his pay.
Yeah.
All right, good night.
Thank you so much. So, just to add to that and then get back to what I was saying, and I was talking about Mr. Gaskin and people like Mr. Gaskin that have this unique position, and I think it's awesome to see somebody like him that have the experience, the exposure, the ability to look at things from a different perspective and offer some professional advice to some of these boards because he has that ability. But just to add to what the caller just said about Mr. Fred, let me tell you something. A week ago I spent 6 hours in BNF, and I was surprised. I was surprised, folks, to see how carefully these guys were, how much they took care of me. And you know, I had a little bug, but these guys, they didn't pull out no stop. And you know what, folks, I ain't got no insurance, but it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. I'll tell you what, and I was happy to pay the bill. I had the money, yes, so I was happy to pay the bill, and I know if I didn't have all the money, Mr. Fred would have worked with me. But I think it's a bloody shame that we still living today, and I calling out every single department in this community. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, today you're in a position of authority. Tomorrow you may be the person submitting the plan. Think about yourself, think about your own personal growth, and think about this country. The people in 50 years ago that fought to secede from the Federation, the people who fought to get back our legislature, and a lot of you don't realize we had lost our legislative power in the 1901, I believe it was. If I'm wrong, correct me on the date, but it was early on when England took away our ability to assemble, our ability for representation. And there's men and women who fought hard for that, PV Islanders and folks who wasn't even PV Islanders who came to this country, who loved this country, who advised the folks who are in position to go forward and fight for their rights. So we got to stop this nonsense. It is nonsense. Boss, listen, you have a right to enforce law. But this is what my advice is. When you think about enforcing law, get with your people who could advise. You know, if Albert Fred is having a problem with parking, offer some suggestions, offer some ideas. Mr. Fred, maybe you could raise the building to create 15 parking space. Whatever it is, you need to find ways to work with your people. Now, with that said, back to my friend, Mr. Gaskin. I love the fact that you came out and you was very strong, and I support everything you said. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you carrying the news, listen to what I just said. I support what that man said. Gaskin I talking about. And people like him who didn't come in front of the news media and didn't say anything, but they were saying it behind the scene, who were supporting what he was saying as well. But my challenge to you, Mr. Gaskin, and people like yourself who hold government position, you're a deputy FS. You have direct contact with the premier. A lot of these things sometimes, if it relates budget and approval, you see a lot of these things. You know a lot of what's coming forward. And there's a lot of people in your position. The PS, all of these PS should be finding ways, communicating with their different departments to find ways to help BV Islanders develop and grow in this country. I don't care what political party they belong to. If they come to you with a plan, push the plan, because that's who we're going to depend on in the future to make sure that this country stay in the hand of BV Islanders. Stop the nonsense. It's nonsense. Stop it. Go ahead. Speak your mind, please.
Yes, good night.
Talk to me.
I'm agreeing with what Mr. Gaskin is saying, but Pat Felix brought up the real issue right now was the elected system. Everyone has changed from 4 years to a more longer period, and I think that's one of the answers after she spoke that's been circulating in the community and everyone's mind. Should we actually change it, and is investors actually leaving because of how long it took for government to change?
I understand. You want me to respond to that?
Sure.
Now listen, I agree with her in her fight to get the building up and going. I don't agree with her with not changing the government. In a real democracy, that's a democracy. All I said to Ms. Lake in that regards now, in this particular subject that you're on, if you don't want to see the government change, when the next election come up, put all your money behind these guys and keep them in power. But don't ever get to the point where you see some of these countries running, going to, Venezuela, I believe, Cuba and all of them things. No, that's not a democracy. Trying to change it so one person could stay in longer. What if they're in there 6 years and they don't get nothing changed? You know what's needed in this country, my friend? And I was fortunate. I'm glad that I get a chance to say the things that I experienced. About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, there was a lady here from the World Bank. And I happened to get a chance to drive that lady back to the airport. And one of the things she was here looking at as long-term policies and procedures and things that are in place, that it doesn't matter what government gets in, they have to fulfill. Take, for example, what's going on right now in the United States. Look at some of the laws, some of the policies that are about to expire. Obama been in power for 6 years, but some of them he couldn't touch. I mean, he's been in power for 4.5 years, going on 5 years now. This is the beginning of the second term. You understand what I'm saying? And there's things coming up right now that they now have to renegotiate together, Congress and the President, to decide if they want to extend it or change those policies. Why don't we have long-term policies that relates to growth and development, building structures? Why don't we have certain things in place that no matter what government gets into play, for example, if she was already approved to move forward with her development, it doesn't matter which government came in, they can't stop her. She just continued because it was already carefully thought out. And that's the problem right there. The problem is not changing government. The problem is policies. There's no clear-cut policies on anything in this country. And that's why people spend so much money trying to get anything done. You submit a plan, the plan's been in there for 8 years. And all of a sudden now they're telling you, you have to submit a new plan. Well, if you already submit the plan for a development and it was already approved, those responsible in there should be responsible for reproducing that plan. Not the developer, not the person trying to push forward the development. It's wrong. So I don't agree with Ms. Lake when it relates to that.
I hang up, man. I listen to you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the call.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, again, hey, thank you guys so much. Again, I'm back. We want to keep this going. I want to hear from you. This year, my whole plan is to hear from you. I want to do less talking, and I only could do less talking when you start calling. If you don't call, I can't. I have to keep going. So we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back.
Yo, you ain't checking for me no more, man. What going on?
Girl, you're right, man. Things rough right now and ain't getting no better. I gotta cut back how things so expensive.
Wait, you ain't hear Digicel giving away some serious credit? With Digicel, when you top up by $15, you will get $100 free credit. I mean, that's 100 anytime Digicel minutes, free chat all weekend long to your Digicel friends, and unlimited text to any network.
Wow! Now with Digicel, I can save and we can party some more.
Party Rock is in the house tonight.
Your credit lasts longer with Digicel. Now that's something worth partying about.
Everybody just
When you need total insurance coverage, Caribbean Insurance Limited is here for you. Backed by A-rated companies, Caribbean Insurance offers coverage for auto, home, marine, health and life, contractors all risk, employer's liability, and professional indemnity. Our life and health coverage is the best. Our in-house claims service beats all the competition. We cover you for disasters such as fires, hurricanes, and floods. We have a special deal for drivers under the age of 25, so switching to Caribbean Insurance can save you money. For the best claim service, fast and efficient customer service, stability, and longevity, Caribbean Insurance is a must for every household. We also compare our home insurance policies with any other policies for free. Caribbean Insurance has a wealth of insurance knowledge for almost 40 years in the insurance business and over 500 years total staff experience. Trust us to provide you with insurance when you need it. So, stop by our office today or give us a call and we'll come to you. Call 494-2728. One Stop Auto in the R&R Malone Complex at Parkwood Bond, right next to the DMV. One Stop Auto has a full line of service parts, motor oils, professional tools, garage equipment, chemicals, window visors, floor mats, light bulbs, wipers, suspension parts, radiators, and a whole lot more. Need your vehicle license at the DMV? One Stop Auto has a vehicle licensing package just for you. Visit www.onestopAutoBVI.com for more information. Visit One Stop Auto for all your automotive needs, and they'll fix you up good.
Contractors, homeowners, farmers, commercial building owners, utility workers, VI Construction and Maintenance Equipment Rental is pleased to introduce a new way of working. Working smarter and working safer. Working smarter and safer can save you money by getting the job done using the latest in available technology and most appropriate equipment to work effectively and efficiently, resulting in reduced manpower and reduced work time. This decreases your cost and increases your profit. Our MT55 can fit through a 3-foot doorway and weighs only 2,500 pounds. Yet this machine equates to 4 men. Our MT55 can move dirt, grade levels, hammer walls, walk as a forklift, dig post holes, excavate dirt, sweep roads and parking lots, till the ground, walk inside buildings and on lawns without ripping up your yard. Cut your work time in half. Rent it today from Kame and start saving money and increasing your profits. Call us at 494-1863 or email rental@kmbvi.com. Daily, weekly, monthly, or weekend rates available. Work smarter, work safer.
Caribbean Basin Enterprises is your wastewater equipment superstore. Chromaglass sewage treatment for homes, institutions, and small communities. Grinder and non-clog pump stations. Manual and automatic grease traps. Subsurface wastewater drip irrigation systems, and more. For green communities, contact our Washington, D.C. or BVI offices or log on to cbebvi.com. Caribbean Basin Enterprises, your gateway to a world of savings.
Big one. All right, guys, so welcome back. So again, basically, we're just tackling this whole concept about, BVI lenders being stopped from trying to develop. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to a point now where, again, without our local developers trying to invest money into this business, into this country dying. Look around what's going on. Right now, our tourism numbers are down. And a lot of these places that depend on tourism are not making any money. And some of these businesses are going to close up. So when somebody decides to take their own investment and go and develop a concept, something that could create jobs, which is an opportunity for government to make revenue. That's what we're talking about. When they talk about creating space, which is an opportunity for somebody to set up a little business who wants to get into business. That's what we're talking about. We got to start looking outside of the box. And again, I am not beating up on the people who are responsible for enforcing the law. The law is the law. What I'm asking is that when you're enforcing the law, look at the other benefits that involves what these people are trying to do and ask yourself, which is greater for the BVI development? Which is greater for the BVI growth? Just enforcing because they don't have, 3 parking space when they're supposed to have 50, they only got 47? I mean, is that what's stopping a lot of our development and growth? If that's the case, shame on the people responsible. I mean, I had a conversation just the other day with my good friends them up at right there at the bridge, Frank Daly. I mean, if I'm hearing him right, you stop an entire development because they don't have lined out parking. Well then, he gave you 10 parking or 15 or 20 parking behind one of his buildings that are just sitting there. Is that enough? It should be. It should be to a point where we could say, you know what? That district, especially the 8th district, needs help. It needs help. It needs jobs. It needs opportunity. To hear the owners them say that folks from other development come around from other places and say, oh, how great this is. They'll even encourage their guests from their establishment to come here and relax and enjoy this type of ambience, and how they're bragging about the millions of dollars in what do you call that? When they get these tax breaks, we've been given for years. This government and the last one, give all these so-called outside investors. Fine, give your outside investors all of this, personal attention. People stationed inside Premier's office to deal with their issues. What happened to your own people? When are you going to get to the point where you're going to say, all of my local people who are developing, they're going to have special attention as well? And you know what? On that whole thing, all this concession that we give a lot of outsiders, it's about time. It's about time. I don't think it's happening. I haven't seen it, I haven't heard it, I haven't read it. But it's about time. For every $1 in benefits that we give to foreign investors, 25 cents of that dollar should be set aside in an account to take care of our schools, to take care of our community centers, to take care of our afternoon program centers. 25 cents. That's when you have real leadership. And any leader who could put those things in place, those are the people you're supposed to be trying to get into office. Because I don't understand how we could sit down and marvel and have big press release about, government getting $100,000 to put in non-profit organization in Virgin Gorda, when I just got $10 million worth of tax exempt. Because I could bring things in this country for years and don't have to pay no taxes because I'm building a big-time resort. Fine, that's fine. We need it. We need it. But fair is fair. Fair is fair, ladies and gentlemen. Don't tell me it's fair when I get $100 million, $10 million, $20 million over a 10-year period, a 15-year period to bring products in, and then I turn around and utilize the same product I'm bringing in to sell to folks who buying from me, and I'm selling plots for $5 million. Something is wrong with that. If you're going to go to that level and give that type of concession to others coming in to invest in your country, what happened to the concession for your people who are here, who are BVI landers? They got mother and father and grandparents who fought hard so they can have a footing in this country. What happened to that? It's nonsense, and we got to stop it, and it needs to stop. And any chance I get to speak out on it, I'm going to speak out on it, because I think it's nonsense. It's foolishness that we all people, BVI Islanders, and ladies and gentlemen, again, like last year, I must say again, when I say BVI Islanders, I ain't just talking about people who are born and raised here. I'm talking about people who call the BVI their home, who went through the process, they're legal, they have rights to establish, they have rights to grow businesses. Those are people who love this country, who make the BVI their home, and that's who I'm referring to. And while I'm on that topic, there's a lady that met me the other day. She's trying to establish, a restaurant, down in Capone's Bay. There used to be a restaurant at the foot of the hill, and she's getting a runaround. When I heard the lady speak, I said, Miss, before I say anything, straight up tell me, you legal? Are you legal to even own a restaurant in this country? Your immigration status fine? The woman said, all is good, Sam. She said, I've been here 20 plus years, everything good. Well, developers, thank you. Miss, thank you for trying. 6 jobs she has waiting, which is taxes for government, which is employment for somebody. It means that somebody don't have to go beg the government for a handout. And that's what we need. We need people in this country who are willing to step out, who are willing to develop for themselves and create opportunity for themselves. And you would think that the government agencies will be thinking about these things, will be looking at these things and say, just take what the FS said the other day. Go read it for yourself. Don't let me tell you what he said. But I read it, and I understood what he was saying. And it ain't nothing that we weren't saying for years. Many of you complained that the last government was going to put the country in bankrupt. You complained and you said we were spending too much money. There was too much money going out on all these contracts. The FS just came out and he gave a really good detailed report about the state of our economy. We got a lot of money going out and less coming in. So this is an opportunity, and every time the government see an opportunity, and these bodies that represent government agencies that see an opportunity where somebody, a BVI lander, a legal person in this country could develop something for themselves where they don't have to depend on government revenue to do it, we should be embracing that. Courtney, what do you think?
Good night, good night, good night. Good night to our viewers out there. I have to join you in on that, Sam, and agree with you that, you know, I think we're at the what we call crossroads in the country where things have changed quite a bit. And because of the changes that we've had so far, we really need to take a look at some of our policies, and we need to revise our way of doing business. You know, I take on the point that you mentioned as well about, you know, treating our local investors. Just recently, I was thinking about, you know, something that happened here years ago about the fact that we raised money through the electricity corporation. It wasn't the electricity corporation back then, but similar. It was they were producing electricity, and we raised money in order to do something by, you know, the equivalent of selling shares. We float some money by getting citizens to, you know, to put up the hard-earned cash, and of course they get a reasonable return on it for a number of years. Similarly, I think, not similarly, but even more importantly now, we can do the same thing. We can raise bonds here, right here locally, if we put that machinery in place.
Yeah.
And that would stop a lot of the talk that we hear about foreign investment or people bringing money in. I think we have money here.
There's a lot of money here,
I think we have a lot of money here.
A lot.
And I think we're missing. Look at Social Security. Social Security have over $400 million, right? I think we have to look at the possibility of encouraging more local to local investment.
Yeah, Courtney, we have
to look at it.
We have some of the smartest people right here in the BVI. They good in money management.
Yeah.
They good in building wealth. They have built this country. Their fathers and grandfathers work hard and instill that type of behavior in us. There's absolutely no excuse and no reason why we should never embrace. We should always be embracing our own people trying to move forward. Always. I don't care what side of the fence they're on, Courtney. We could do a lot of things. The information is out there. Courtney, just real quick, somebody said something about you know, having a non-BVI lander head up, you know, some of these departments. And I only want to say something to that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You know, a lot of you haven't read the white paper yet. You need to go read the white paper. The white paper clearly outlined clear policies that the UK can tend to take on. And one of those things, they talk about having a closer working relationship, departments to department. Go read it. If I'm wrong, correct me next week. But the white paper clearly outlines the intention. Wherever this guy is from, whoever's spearheading town country, that I understand all government wants to put into the position, and we have 2 locals right now ready, willing, and able and experienced to put in that position. Wherever he come from, I can't blame the Premier. I can't blame the rest of them, because the policies that they have in front of them, their hands are tied. Understand it. Unless you the people start picketing, you start making noise, you start writing protest letters, these guys ain't gonna get up and fight because they want to hold on to their position. They want to seem like they're all about good governance. Good governance for some of them means not making any noise. It's foolishness. It's foolishness. So UK government, the last one that got fired, made a statement about where you're born, where you're from, and migration. He says, it's the territories, he said. I remember that very clearly. He says the territories that ask for some of these policies. Well, guess what? When they have these discussions, when they have these white paper, when they have all of these things going around, you guys need to get involved. Stop waiting until after the fact. We're reactive to everything. You're not proactive. They have community outreach meetings, so you could come and make as much noise as you can. Bring your concerns, your comments in writing, and table them on the table. And you don't do it. So as soon as now we get some of these people in some of these departments, we start complaining. Don't complain, no. That guy sitting there, I believe ain't much we could do about him, because the UK say he's one of the UK department heads. He's from over there, so he's in here, no. And that's the whole idea. Police department, he ain't white. I still think he's mixed. He ain't white. The police department, next going to be custom, next going to be immigration, next going to be all of these PSs. Remember, civil servant is under the governor. So the governor tomorrow, if he decides he wants to bring 2 PS from England in, what's there to stop him? Is there constitutional law? If there is, you know, we've seen a lot of arguments so far about governor doing things that is unconstitutional. So even if he were able we were able to rescind that decision, by then we're all frustrated and the person might be in position. So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, this year you got to be more proactive. We can't sit down now and just wait. Every time, you know, something, you know, affects your brother, your sister, your neighbor, we all should be embracing that change. We also be embracing the conversation. We also be a part of the situation. You know, Miss Lake having a problem, don't sit there and bite her. Understand what it is she's trying to do and represent. Help her with her fight. You know, Alvin Fred, again, somebody called about him. And I totally agree with that person. Here it is, Mr. Fred is trying to do something that, you look at the Purple Palace, and I'm not knocking that. I think it's great. You look at the Purple Palace. They put up a big old structure up on top of a hill. There's no parking. Absolutely no parking. But it's done. And guess what? It's needed. And I embrace that too. I embrace that 300%. But here it is, we got somebody else, another BV Islander, who's trying to do something for themselves, who's trying to do something for this country. We got a lot of young people. There's a headline in the paper saying that the hospital services is going to start bringing, looking to some of our young people outside training to staff the hospital. Well, what happens if we don't have room in a hospital? We got BNF. BNF got a lot of folks who are from foreign countries employed, and I'm sure Alwood Fred would love to hire more BV Islanders. I'm sure he would love to put up structures so we could do what we need to do. You know, it's a bit frustrating. And one of the reasons I decided that I'm going to come back and do the show, ladies and gentlemen, is to tackle those issues. We're not going to go forward anymore with this. You know, you guys really have to do what it takes, and we got to get out there as BV Islanders. And again, BV Islanders is all of us who call this country home, who go through the process, bond and non-bond. You know, if you consider yourself a BV Islander, you're supposed to be representing other BV Islanders' fight, because today, you know, in the service business I'm in, today I'm the service provider, tomorrow I'm the customer, and you better believe that. You know, don't ever think that the table will never turn. It will turn. It may not be you directly, but it might be your cousin, it might be your sister. And I tell you straight up, I ain't cutting no corners this year. I tell you straight up, I ain't talking about trying to support nobody that just want to come in and just take advantage of our good nature and take advantage of this country. I'm talking about people who put in their dues. If you ain't from this country, I'm talking about people who put in their dues, who work hard, who've done what they're supposed to do according to the law, immigration policies, you know, custom policies, whatever. And now they're at a point where they have earned their right to do whatever. That's what I'm talking about.
We have to text Sam. So why waste time to make laws and have civil servants to regulate and enforce these laws when you and others try to put down the divisions and constantly ask for leniency in the law? This is a perfect example of why we can't do better, because I born here seems to mean the laws don't apply. That's somebody's opinion.
I don't agree with that. Yeah. I don't agree with that. And you know what? I born here have a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't like the term. I think it's a foolish term. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're doing the wrong thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. But again, this is my suggestion, is that when I born here, is people like Patsy Lake, like Romney Penn, like Mr. O'Neill, Colin O'Neill, when they are those kind of people who are trying to keep this country going, what we supposed to do, what the different departments supposed to do and should be doing, is looking with those people, sitting down with those people, and finding ways to get what's needed done, not find ways to block it. There's a difference, my friend. We ain't talking about people who just go out and do stupid things and then talk about Ibana. I don't agree with that. I think whoever is doing those kind of things need to be locked up. Lock them up. We ain't talking about that. We talking about creators. We talking about doers. We talking about people who love this country. People who realize there's a need for growth. boss, this country dying, you know. Small businesses dying.
Sam, let me give you one more what we have here. The reason our tourism is on the fall is because of our lack of customer service. I saw a vendor at Crafts Alive curse out a tourist because the tourist corrected the vendor about the rate of exchange. She then walked out her shop because another tourist asked her for different prices.
Okay, I'm gonna tackle that too. We got a lot of people that come off these cruise ships. French people and Italians. And before, especially the Italians now, I ain't tackle the French because most of the French we get here from Guadeloupe, they don't care in Martinique. They don't care. You know, they come in, and I don't work with none of them because the bottom line is that, you know, if you come, you're looking for service, you should pay for the service based on the value of the service. But I'll tell you something, there's a lot of French people, there's a lot of Italian people that come off these ships, the Costa ships. And before they get off those ships, the ship operators tell them clearly, they know exactly what the rate is. The rates change, they fluctuate day to day. They could fluctuate within the hour. We all know that. But point blank, most of us who do, especially taxis and tours and stuff, we tell them point blank, if you want fair exchange, go to the bank. They don't want to go to the bank. I can't defend the vendor if the vendor is being rude. But that's not the reason why our tourism is done. Our tourism is done for a number of reasons, my friend. The number one reason is that Americans are afraid to travel. It's been said over and over and over. They're afraid to take vacation because a lot of those who voted for Obama might lose their job because their boss might be a Republican. If 80% of our tourists is Americans and Americans ain't traveling, that's the number one reason. What I tell you, one of the other reasons is that our marketing and our sales strategy is weak. And I could say that boldly. Our marketing and our sales strategy, sales is weak. And if you want to understand what I'm saying, just look at the most successful properties around here. Peter Island, Little Dix Bay, Bitter End, Byros Creek, Scrub Island, all of them have. Even my people them that I work with in West End, Frenchman's Key Resort, they have two things in play. They got smart marketing and they got strong sales. No matter how much you could display product, if people can't buy it at the right price, they ain't buying it, period. So if you don't understand that, get into business. Get into a business where you got to sell something. Sure, customer service is the utmost important. It is, because that's the first line of defense. That's your first opportunity to have an impression on somebody. I used to sell cars. You know what my boss used to say? He said, for every 10 that you smile with, 2 gonna buy. You don't know who those 2 are. You don't know if they're going to be the first 2, the middle 2, or the last 2. So customer service is important. Absolutely.
Very correct, though, Sam. Marketing is a very important part of it.
Absolutely.
You have to market your product.
Absolutely.
Somebody texted and said, when will someone get the balls to address the governor's blatant violation of the Constitution and racism in the police force? The person that texted and also don't have the balls to call a show, but it's a fair comment that we should be following the little bit of freedom that we're given. The Constitution gives us a little bit of freedom, and we should hold on to it like in a tug of war. When you're in a tug of war.
Courtney, you just said something, and I'm going to tag on to it. And this person probably going to hate me for a day. But, at least they're communicating with us, whether it's by text or by call, right? So thank you. Thank you for the text. It's important that we know what your voices are, right? But that's the reason why the governor, the UK, the overseas office, or Premier, or PS, or different department heads are able to do whatever they want. Because, again, my fight is only my fight because you think I'm the only one being affected. But the minute that you're affected, you want me and others like me now to fight your fight. Well, here's what we're supposed to be doing. Embracing each other's fight. What are you afraid about? What's holding you back from calling and voicing your concern? What's holding you back to get with your brothers and sisters in your community to write a petition letter and go to the Premier's office and demand that the Premier follow the Constitution? What's holding you back from hiring a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer, if you want to get so technical, to look at the violation, to clearly write letters to the UN, to the overseas office, and call international attention to the violation? What's holding you back? What? Tell me. We want to know. That's what we need going forward. All of us.
There's a song that goes to that rhyme. What's holding me back? Is it because? I wouldn't finish it.
We know what's holding back a lot of people, Courtney.
Sam, Courtney, good night. Sam, I love the way you're speaking without compromising. God blessing upon you both. Continue speaking out. Thank you.
Well, Courtney, I said from the onset,
yeah.
you know, I'm going to try to be as clear, I'm going to try to be as right, as precise as I can, because I don't want, you know, when the newspaper them twist my word you know, so yeah, so I think again, ladies and gentlemen, you know, what I like is dialogue. I like conversation. I like people who are able to engage, and I believe that if I can engage other people, my representatives, I can engage you, you can engage me, we're gonna always be the way we are. And that's not the kind of society we had. The people that we're going to continue to refer to like Noah Lloyd, Lenny DeCastro, Mr. Faulkner, and those guys, let me tell you something. Yes, at the time, it was hard. They came up against a wall. And God bless that wall, because that wall started the ball. It took the BVI in another course. You know what I mean? And because of the hardship they were having. But right now, folks, we are at an age right now, we don't have to wait for us to hit a wall to realize there was a wall. We see the wall. We see the wall already. What are we waiting on? All of us, these guys who are all representative, they're all our friends, you know. We know them. Remember when they were campaigning, they were in your yard. Remember they were in your front door. Remember they came to your church. Remember they came to the community, set up a big tent and told you, we can't just do nothing. They told you a lot of things. Well, if you're having a problem right now with them doing nothing, you're supposed to be able to go to them and say something. What are you waiting on? You're supposed to pull them up and say, but be smart. Be smart and be clear. And say, I remember when so-and-so wasn't doing nothing, you said that we could have done this. Well, what's stopping them from doing something like that? It's simple. It's simple.
Sam, before we go to a break, we have a text that came in here, sir, that says, good night, sir. The principal of Elmer Stout High School has made a ruling that states that students should eat under the tent at their prospective lunch. The text coming in lunchtime.
Yeah, but we get the gist.
Yeah.
We know what they're trying to say.
Right. If not, they will be suspended if they eat in the classroom. The Minister of Education supports it, but how does it benefit a student who wants to do something constructive during lunchtime? How will they be able to concentrate under those loud tents? They're talking about the tents where they have the lunch set up.
I think there's a bigger thing to that, and I understand where the minister might be coming from. Courtney, there's a lot of loitering and lawlessness going on during break, and they're trying to curve that, and so I can understand that. But brother, unless you put some kind of policy in place, unless you support these students that need support, some of them might have to do some other things outside of just going to get lunch during lunchtime. They use that opportunity to go pay their bills, their mother power bill or the father, gas bill. We also have to sit down and look at why a lot of these students are leaving, and you can't just force something on somebody if they have free entrance. If you're telling me that you're going to put policies in place that if they come back late they'll be penalized, that's something different. I'll support that. But to blatantly come out and say, school policy that you can't leave the grounds, what's the reason? I'm not saying you can't do it, So please don't say I say you can't do it.
Yes,
I'm saying what is the reason?
Just shifting gears a little bit, right? We got a little notice here, so big up some people. The British Virgin Islands Little League Baseball invites you to a great exchange that will hold the St. Thomas USVI team on Saturday, February 16, 2013 from 9 a.m. in the Longbush baseball field. We expect you to support us with the children of the future. We count on your support. Come and register your children from ages 6 and above with a copy of their birth certificate. There will be selling of food and juices. Invites the community and Little League organizers. Sam, I just pushed that in there real quick. We have to take a break for the sponsors and make the show possible, and we're going to be right back.
We're going to tackle that when we come back.
When I say Radiotron Electronics, I mean
HD TVs in all sizes from 19 inches, 60 inches from top brands.
When I say Radiotron Electronics, I mean
DVD players, home stereo system, home theater systems, headphones for everyone from top brand.
When I say Radiotron Electronics, I mean
cellular phones, watches, car, audio systems, speakers, laptop computers, household accessories.
When I say Radiotron Electronics, I mean
repairs for your computer, cellular phone, HD TVs, radio installations for your new car sound system.
When I say Radiotron Electronics, I mean
the biggest music store in the Virgin Islands.
We are located in Hampton's Gut across from the gas station. Stop by today. You just might find the piece of electronics that you need at Radiotron Electronics, your number one sales and electronics repair center in Virgin Islands.
Are the high rents, no parking, and traffic jams running you out of town? R&R Malone Complex has office, retail, and storage spaces you can custom design at prices you can afford. There is plenty of parking, central restroom facilities, freight elevators, and emergency backup power. Check us on Facebook or call 494-4345 to reserve your space today. R&R Malone Complex, a bigger bang for your buck.
Where adventure's waiting, where your future is calling, that's where Monterey Sports is going. Born for off-road running. Once you set it free, nothing will hold it back. Monterey Sports fuses the fun and comfort of Virgin Islands driving terrain, conquering toughness of off-road excitement.
With a powerful 3.5-liter 24-valve V6 engine, with the freedom to switch between 4-wheel drive and quiet 2-wheel drive. And in case you might forgot, it seats 7 with lots of room for cargo.
Get ready for a new point of view. Monterey Sports give you a commanding view of your surroundings with luxurious styling to make the ride all the more pleasant. Combined with available fully automatic climate control and Mitsubishi power sound system.
The only thing more fun than riding a Monterey Sport is being in the driver's seat.
And with every purchase of a new vehicle, you get a free generator right here at Tola Mitsubishi. Guaranteed. Every purchase of a new vehicle, a free generator is yours to keep free. Be prepared. Tola Mitsubishi got you covered.
3 years labor-free servicing, 3 years warranty, and free vehicle registration.
Only at Tola Mitsubishi. Contact us today at 494-8652.
Less Than 10, the perfect place for kids' party supplies and just about everything for back to school. Whatever you need to make your kids' party a hit, we've got it at Less Than 10. All the top-selling themes, Hannah Montana, High School Musical, Disney characters, and superheroes. On a budget? No problem. We'll make you look like a superhero by putting together something special for your kids' summer party or any celebration. Remember, this is what we do. Let us take the stress off you. But here's the best part. When playtime is over and it's time for back to school, we've got all the supplies. Books, art and craft supplies, rulers, erasers, pencils, pens. It's Less Than 10 again. Less Than 10. Our quality, selection, and price are the perfect blend. We're located upstairs Super Value. Stop by today. We're sure to have something just for you.
So Courtney, you just got two really good, interesting texts. Read those texts again so the people can hear what the people have to say.
That's it.
Come
I just gotta get to it.
I think both of those texts were very interesting. One pretty much, we're not blowing our own horn, so we'll let somebody else do it. And then the other one...
It says, Sam, I think you and Courtney should be a big part of the government because you both have the right things to improve the country. I learn a lot, and I am sure others learn a lot too. Keep up the good job.
No, we're not going to be part of government. We instead speak your mind, because that's where we have a greater impact. What's the next one?
It's another one that came here. So it says, stop telling the people they're making the stuff at Crawford Lab. I have been Crawford Lab to interview Kishmet Daniel and was impressed with how that young lady deals with the tourists and how the tourist face lights up when she showcases and sells her products. That's very good. I've personally seen her there myself.
Give us the next one.
Yes, we may need developments, yes, but why can't they be done within the guidance of the law? It is crazy that you will come on air and say that they should overlook the laws because of who they are. That's...
Courtney, stop right there for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing, the young lady in the Craft Life Center, we know who she is. She calls this show regularly. And she fought like hell to get a space inside Craft for Life. You think she should have had to fight that hard? No. So I'm glad to know that somebody interviewed her and was able to get her information out, and she's awesome. She's brilliant. She's a BV Islander. So thank you so much for recognizing that. And second of all, listen carefully. Nobody is saying anything about subsiding the law. We're talking about the departments working with the developer to rectify the issues. That's what I said. Don't misquote me. And again, I am not going this year with people misquoting what I'm saying, because your mind is too small and you're not thinking and trying to help. Bring solutions to the table. Don't bring argument that's going to hold things back. BV Islanders, this country belongs to us. Whatever it takes in all government departments to push development for BV Islanders, that should be a focus of our government. And that's the bottom line. I don't know any other place. Americans fight for Americans. Canadians fight for Canadians. British fight for British. Venezuela fighting for Venezuelans. So I don't know where you live in. But whatever it takes, my friend, we ain't talking about breaking the law. The laws were made by people who thought they understood all the ins and outs. Laws are meant to you could change, you could put policies in place, you'd rectify some of them. I mean, they got laws in other countries where they totally just, get rid of it and then create new laws. What I'm saying is that when we got developers, BV Islanders, because let me tell you something, whether you want to believe this or not, and I said this and I had a show on this just by this alone, there are people who are coming into this country who are owning businesses and looking for people like themselves to help them run their business. So you better believe that I have my faith more in BV Islanders. And again, a BV Islander for me, he doesn't have to be born in this country. He could just be somebody that live here, love this country, went through the process, and I have my belief that those kind of people, along with people who are born in this country, I have a much greater chance of working with than folks who are just coming in trying to invest and only look for their own benefit. So BV Islanders, I don't care what side of the political fence you're on. If BV Islanders are trying to do something for this country, all government departments should be embracing, should be looking at all the other benefits that comes with the development, things like employment, opportunities for entrepreneurs to start little businesses. Patsy Lake Chopper building down there is office space, it's little retail space down below. You got all kinds of things. You got food court. Sure, she owned the food court. So what? It's hers. But other people can do other things. There's opportunity. If she didn't have the building, where's the opportunity? There's a flower shop around the corner, so some of you men go buy some flowers. I ain't endorsing no flower shop there, I'm simply saying there's opportunities. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me get to another text here real quick, Sam. So this is like a text back to what we were talking about. I think you missed the point. Why would you want to suspend a child who is eating in a classroom on their lunch break and the teacher is present and the student has something constructive to do? I am a law-abiding student. That's from a student point of view. So I can see that point.
So what's the point? What's the point?
The point is the person that sent the text obviously is a student. He said, I think you missed the point. Why would you want to suspend a child who is eating in a classroom on their lunch break and the teacher is present and the student has something constructive to do? In other words, they want to eat in the classroom.
No, student, you missed the point. My comment was that if the ministry, I'm saying to you that the ministry should give a clear explanation as to why they want to stop students from going outside the compound while lunch break. That was the text. The text was that, is it a good idea? I'm saying that I embrace some of the concept because I believe what the minister is trying to do might even help the student. They're not talking about suspending anybody. I said if the policies, if the government or the minister were to put policies in place and say if students are going outside on their lunch break and they're coming back late, you penalize them. Nobody said anything about penalizing you while you're having lunch in the classroom. That wasn't the text, my friend. So listen carefully to the conversation. Text came in.
We have another text on the same thing. It said the reason for the policy on students not being able to leave the Mustow High School is because of the amount of girls that are picked up by men and subsequently get pregnant and many other reasons. If we continue to force and fight our policies put in place to protect our kids, why have a principal or a governing body? That's another point of view, Sam. The water situation, especially in West End. It may be in West End, but I've also heard complaints on the Ridge Road in East End and in Road Town as well. So it's not only you're feeling the pain that a lot of us are feeling, the texter, but I guess we're going to hear from some official person sometime why we're having what we're having and why not. He said, Uncle Sam says he doesn't have any insurance. Why?
Can't afford it.
Okay.
I can't afford it. Not yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting insurance though, for sure. I need it. We all need it. But insurance is very expensive.
We're going to talk some more about that though, because government vehicles don't have any insurance either. Good night.
We're talking about health insurance though.
Okay. Good night. When are they going to put back the metal detector at the high school? For it was doing good. Why don't we want to see good? Why don't we want to see good for our students? That's a controversial issue. I think it has something to do with the students' rights. It also has to do with safety, and it also has to do with a number of crimes that are committed at the high school. The good gentleman there, I'm not sure if he walked out all the bugs, but apparently he was doing something proactive to try to prevent the things that are happening at the high school.
Okay, that's a sign of the times, or no?
Yeah, that's a sign of the times, but it's also some of what you were speaking about, Sam. We can't continue to be passive. We can't be reactionary. We have to be proactive.
Well, Courtney. Okay, it goes back to the policy. The government decides, or the ministry decides, that they want to put a policy in place to help curb some of the behavior. With somebody, the texter just said, I didn't say it, the texter said, to curb some of the temptation, the young ladies are being picked up, and then we're having this high pregnancy rate. Now, let me ask you a question. Simple question. A young lady, 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, we say, are not responsible for herself. She's underage.
Right.
But we as parents trust that they have enough common sense and guidance by this time to dress themselves, get to school on time, be well dressed, groom properly, have their homework ready. But we don't trust and give them the responsibility or hold them accountable for the action that they do outside of our care or outside of our eyesight. Is that what we're doing? Is that the society that we going at now?
Well, Sam, it's even worse than that, because I've been talking about this thing about the price that we charge at functions, even government functions. They say 12 years and older. In other words, if you're 12 years, that's the cutoff point where you have to buy an adult ticket.
So they consider them adult then?
They consider them an adult. And when you do that to children, it sends a subliminal message to them.
It is.
It sends a message to say to them, look, once you're 12, you're an adult.
It is.
And we have to stop this kind of thing in the community if we're going to try to promote better development of young people.
But Courtney, it goes to an argument I had.
Older people have to be more responsible.
Yes, Courtney, and I agree with you. But also at the same time, we must hold our young people
We must hold them accountable. Yeah,
We're not, and listen, Courtney.
We must give them a chance.
There was a policy that Ms. Penn, when she was the health minister, the last government signed, the protection of women and children. There's some things in there that say, as an adult, we could look at them this way, but we can't look at them this way. So we said to the kids, the message I got from that is that as a child, it's okay if you do these things because you'll get away with it. You're considered a child. Let me ask the audience something, and let me ask you something, Courtney. If you take that same 12-year-old, 13-year-old little girl or little boy, and they go out and murder your child, or your son or your daughter, you want justice then? Wouldn't you want justice? The same 12-year-old we say irresponsible for knowing better, going outside the gate and jumping into a vehicle with a 19-year-old, we're saying that they don't know better. But if that same person, that same child, 12 years old, go out and murder your child over a fight or something stupid, you as a parent don't want justice now? All of a sudden you ain't going to look at them differently? So why aren't we having the same approach? Why aren't we putting responsibility and hold them accountable? I understand, ladies and gentlemen, call me, cuss me all you want and tell me they underage, they this and that. I understand that. I support that. I don't support what's going on with the men and so forth. I don't. But
Sam,
hold your child accountable.
I think the bigger underage issue, though, is that we have to set some sort of limits as to the abuse that happens to kids as well, because we are seeing in the court system, we are seeing a number of cases of abuse, and it keep on increasing. It's not decreasing. More and more people are taking advantage of people because of their age. And it's a dilemma that we have to face in the society. It's very disturbing. I mean, because I feel that it has to do with morals, and it has to do with with everything that you have learned from time you were born.
That's right, Courtney.
And
and that's really where it comes down to.
And it drives me to another point, Sam, that I feel strong about as well, and that is counseling. I feel that we have developed to the point in a community where we have doctors of social sciences and whatnot in our community, and we need to start licensing people who call themselves counselors. Because if you have people out there, and mind you, I'm not knocking any counselor. I know there are a lot of good counselors in our community. However, we must set standards. And if we have standards, we can hold people accountable. If we have licensing requirement for counselors, you would know who is a counselor. I myself was a counselor when I used to go to school. And you know what level I was? I was a very low level of counseling. And you know one of the things I learned in counseling is that if you have a situation that you can't deal with, the first thing you have to do is carry it up the line to the next more senior person than you.
Somebody with more experience.
Somebody with more experience, somebody with more qualification, and somebody who can handle it. We are not seeing that happening here, okay? We're seeing people counseling people, and at the end of the day, to me, they're doing the person more wrong. They're putting the person in a worse situation, and that's called counseling. And I think that is something that we have to address in this community, because that is one of the things that is leading to some of the social ills that we are seeing in the community.
Well, there's definitely a big disconnect, Courtney, between the home and the kids. And you know, Courtney, sometimes you go out, man, I tell you what, it's sickening. You see some of these little girls, the way they dress up, some of these little boys, the way they behave. Some of them 13, 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? And we having this discussion year after year after year after year. You know, we had a huge discussion in the last government. We talked about curfew. There was no implementation. We talk about, looking at some of the venues.
While you're talking about Kofudo, you bring something to mind to me as well. We have functions here that are 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we have kids 2, 3 years old walking around in the function.
Oh, God.
The people that put on these functions, the companies that are involved in these things, they're just as guilty. They're just as guilty because and law enforcement should really crack down in these areas because it is not just, they're also in a dangerous situation. And we have to be more responsive as a community, and we have to pull together a little bit better.
The last
every child that we miss and fall through these cracks is a child that is going to be part of our criminal justice system.
That's right. And some of them are young. They start young.
Some of them are very young.
They developing the behavior because of the environment. Again, it still goes back to the fact that we take them out, we turn them loose to a night party that lasts till about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we expect them now at some point to not want to go out and party, not want to stay out late at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old.
After they have learned that behavior is okay. We said to them that kind of behavior, we condone that kind of behavior, and then we turn to them and say, don't do it. It's like when you tell your kids, do what I say but not what I do.
Don't watch me, just do what I tell you. But there's some serious issue. There's some serious issue going on with our youth. But youth, I don't want you to watch this show and think that we're against any policy. Anything that's good, that's going to protect you guys when you're in school, I am all for. Again, I just think there should be clear understanding. I mean, every time I see some change, and not to bring this in, but even over at the cruise ship dock, we've had a change in the way we do business over there. But those who brought the change never brought a reason or ideas or something that the problems with the structure you have. We're going to change the and we'll rectify. If you don't like it, we'll try to go back and find something else. But what's wrong with the one we got? What have you done to rectify it? So I think going forward, looking at whatever the minister is trying to do, whatever the ministry is trying to do, is a change that's coming, and they see some problems and they think it could curb those problems. We don't know from the outside, so we're asking the question. I'm simply asking you if you know why the reason for change. What's the reason for stopping people from going outside and buying a lunch? We're talking about 14, 15-year-old kids. I mean, they're responsible. If there's an immediate danger outside, sure. Then you want to interject. You want to be a part of that protection. But if that's not the case, then tell me why. Is it just to support who's selling inside?
Sam, I got a text, not cutting, but I got a text that says the disconnect is the parents not being parents. Did your parents allow you to go out at that age? Okay, the answer is no. But another more important answer than that, I grew up in a different time than now. This is a totally different time. And you can't blame the parents alone. We as a society have a job as well. When I grew up, I grew up in a situation where if I did something that was wrong and my parents didn't know about it, the neighbor, the guy on the street, the police, everybody was down on my case. So I didn't have a choice. Okay? Any one of them could have. And if they said something or did something to me and then my mother found out about it, I was going to get another licking, another set of blows.
That's right.
So that was a total different time. Okay?
But I'm going to tell our person straight up. My father died when I was real young. And a lot of us took advantage of my mother. I took advantage of my mother. I was 11, 12 years old learning to drive. The dude used to sneak in my sister's bedroom. And I used to knock on the window and say, key, buddy, key. 11 years old. So yes, I did some bad things. I ain't no saint, of course, but I knew I was doing something wrong. And that's just my point, is that at that age, you're that advanced, you know what's right and what's wrong.
And you have to make a choice.
And you have to make a choice. A little girl, 13 years old, 14 years old, in good sense, leaving school, knowing fully well that she going to engage in a situation that she know her mother don't want her in. She know her father don't want her in. She know her pastor won't agree on. She know the police will lock the guy up. Why engage in that? Why even put yourself in a situation? Eliminate the situation. Mister, leave me alone. Let me go to school. Girl, I too young right now to be involved with that kind of situation. I want my education. All I'm saying, there should be some sense of responsibility put on the child because we're trying our best. And I ain't coming down on no parents, Courtney, that I know is trying. There's a lot of parents out there, Courtney, trying. They got to work 2 and 3 jobs. I pick up a young lady the other night, 12 o'clock at night. You know, she works right at the gas station. When I look, I see the little boy getting there. I say, sweetie, why your little boy out here? She ain't got no babysitter.
Yeah.
You know, 12 o'clock at night.
But Sam, in addition to that, parents today, they're also competing with the media. They're competing with the television. They're competing with the music video stations. You know, it's a lot more influence out there on the young people, and we have to understand that all these things are factors in young people's lives, and all of them influence them. Right?
Definitely.
We have a couple of texts. Let's go to these texts before we have to take a break. Let's see. Let's say, good night, Sam. I'm so glad to see you. We miss you and we love you. Welcome back. That was a text I came there from.
I wonder who that is.
This place is too Americanized. And TV has a big influence on our teens. Rap music, demonic music. They see these people as role models, and the stars don't live the life they preach. That's a true fact.
Yeah.
That's not the time we live in now. If I correct your child, the first person going to jump me is you. Well, that
hey, Carla, text you're right.
Which Courtney, how we as a community are supposed to be helping the children when we, the community, try to discriminate the same child and does them cuss from the parents when we do. Well, I'm not suggesting that we go back in time. I don't believe in going back in time at all. So if anyone got the impression that I'm saying let's go back in time, I'm saying no. Let's don't go back in time. Let us get to know these young people. Let us get to know them on their level. Find out their social interaction. Find out what making them tick. Find out how they're thinking the way they're thinking, and how we can tell them what we did and our experiences and how it could influence their lives now to make them better persons.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm talking about.
It goes to what you were saying too. With the plug you get for the little league.
Yeah.
You know, we got a lot of things happening in this country with our youths.
Yeah.
And because some of us, because
Saturday,
our youths.
Saturday, February 16th, 9 a.m.
Because your youth,
baseball field.
Because your youth is not involved, you don't go out and support.
Yeah.
We got to start supporting our youths them.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you see these young youths and you got a kind word, hey, good afternoon, how was school day?
Yeah.
You had a good time? What's wrong? What happened?
Interact with them.
And that
they need it.
That right there is what's going to take them to the next level, Courtney.
Yeah.
But when they don't get that, it's a problem. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Yo, you ain't checking for me no more, man. What going on?
Girl, you're right, man. Things rough right now and ain't getting no better. I gotta cut back how things so expensive.
Wait, you ain't hear Digicel giving away some serious credit? With Digicel, when you top up by $15, you will get $100 free credit. I mean, that's 100 anytime Digicel minutes, free chat all weekend long to your Digicel friends, and unlimited text to any network.
Wow! Now with Digicel, I can save and we can party some more.
Party Rock is in the house tonight.
Your credit lasts longer with Digicel. Now that's something worth partying about.
Everybody just
When you need total insurance coverage, Caribbean Insurance Limited is here for you. Backed by A-rated companies, Caribbean Insurance offers coverage for auto, home, marine, health and life, contractors all risk, employer's liability, and professional indemnity. Our life and health coverage is the best. Our in-house claims service beats all the competition. We cover you for disasters such as fires, hurricanes, and floods. We have a special deal for drivers under the age of 25, so switching to Caribbean Insurance can save you money. For the best claim service, fast and efficient customer service, stability, and longevity, Caribbean Insurance is a must for every household. We also compare our home insurance policies with any other policies for free. Caribbean Insurance has a wealth of insurance knowledge for almost 40 years in the insurance business and over 500 years total staff experience. Trust us to provide you with insurance when you need it. So, stop by our office today or give us a call and we'll come to you. you. Call 494-2728.
494-2728.
494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728. 494-2728
Caribbean Basin Enterprises is your wastewater equipment superstore. Chromaglass sewage treatment for homes, institutions, and small communities. Grinder and non-clog pump stations. Manual and automatic grease traps. Subsurface wastewater drip irrigation systems, and more. For green communities, contact our Washington, D.C. or BVI offices or log on to cbebvi.com. Caribbean Basin Enterprises, your gateway to a world of savings.
Produce of a mango tree, Plus, and grapefruit and strawberry. Pineapple, orange and apple, peach, cosenia, mad grape will make you dance. Passion tangerine from the Caribbean, passion fruit and iced tea.
Turbo Plus, the refreshing family drink with the revved up fruit flavor.
Turbo Plus is distributed in the Virgin Islands by Tortola General Services. Alt Marine Air Conditioning and Refrigeration specializes in servicing and repairing units such as Daikin, Marine Air Tech, Mitsubishi, TGM, York. Any type that you call, we can install. We also work on commercial and residential units in houses, boats, cars, and company buildings. If you even need some cool breeze for your dog house or house stable, we would not hesitate. We are always able. No job is too big or too small for Alts Marine Limited. For our home and restaurant customers, we also service and install all your appliances such as ovens, stoves, washers, dryers, refrigerators, and freezers. You can contact us at 494-4529 or 340-3791 or email us alsmarine@surfbvi.com. Alsmarine is located in Purcell Estate Road, Town, Tortola. Alsmarine Limited, your number one choice.
Alright, well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now listen, we got a few more minutes left, right? And we want to leave this last few minutes to get some calls. So we tired of reading text. Text takes a long time. You could call, say what you got to say. Somebody asked earlier in this show, what is it going to take for us to start calling these people out, whoever they are, wherever they are. If it's you, let's call you out. Call yourself out. We need you to call. So, you know, again, moving forward, if you want change, you got to be the change. You got to be the change that you're looking for. So let's start with each other. I want to be the change I'm looking for, so I try and like help to be the change that I want, you know, to want to see. So
you're nearly sounding like the man in the mirror.
Well, yeah, well, the man in the mirror says, oh, if you want change, be the change. You know, start with yourself and let's look out. So if we want politicians and we want department heads to start looking at things differently, let's look at things differently ourselves. If you got a complaint about a situation, let's look at solution that you have that could help rectify it. So we want to hear you. I can leave the phone.
We got a call.
Go.
Yeah, good evening. You speak your mind. Go right ahead, please. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Coach Bishop.
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I see Sam Leo. Sam.
Hey.
No, I'm so happy to see you, my son. Gee whiz. I wonder when you were ever going to come back here.
I was here all along and in spirit. I was here in spirit.
I kept praying much for you come true.
I was here in spirit.
I'm so glad to see you, my brother. We miss you.
I'm sick and tired of I pulling me up on the street.
Oh, man. God will really answer prayer. Thank God for you, brother.
Well, listen, I got a good co-host now. We just need people to be honest about themselves and be able to call and say what they have to say. That's what the show is called, Speak Your Mind. So I just had along with him to help facilitate that.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad to see. I had to call him for that because Courtney was kind of by himself, and I know he needed you, man. I'm so glad to see you.
Well, Courtney told...
I had to put him in because I just finished, so, and the show's almost open.
Courtney told me something on the break, right? Courtney told me something on the break. Courtney said, Sam, without me, you ain't no good enough. And I said, Courtney, you're right. Without you, me ain't no good either.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I like but still I got to put it in there. I mean, think about it. Look at your hand. Let's look at simple logic. Look at your hand. Without this side of your hand, right? This side ain't no good. If the side of your hand inside I look like this, every time you touch something, you get burned.
No,
I mean, Courtney's my boy. Courtney's my boy.
Carla, we know you're always in touch with what's happening with the traffic. How you feeling these days?
Let me tell you something now. I was down, man. I was really down Saturday night. I look forward to Saturday night. And when I realized Sam wasn't there Saturday night after Saturday night, man, it had me depressed. I'm so happy to see Sam. Guys, next week we're going to have a better show.
Well, listen, before you go, he hang up?
Yeah, he hang up long time.
Carla, I want your call back because I got something for you. I put something out there earlier about BV Islanders, and you're a good example. You're not one born in this country, but you understand the history of this country. You came here, and I hear your story many times. I know who you are. I heard your story many times. And you are one of the people I hear all the time, praising BV Islanders, helping BV Islanders help one another. Departments finding ways to help strengthen BV Islander growth. You know the situation with all this back and forth, Miss Lake in the news, Mr. Fred in the news, and all these people trying to get buildings up so they could start employing people. I said on this show, I don't believe in breaking the law. And that's not what I'm advocating here at all. So the people...
Yeah, good evening. You're free to speak your mind. Go right ahead, please. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, I'm calling back. I probably just missed.
So it's you I was talking to. So in a nutshell, how do you feel about what's been in the news lately in relation to the buildings, the development, the growth, people having such a hard time, BV Islanders having such a hard time, trying to set up businesses so we could start trying to employ people? How do you feel about the economy right now? I want your real take on it.
Based on what's been hearing, it's really bad. I mean, what I've been hearing, people are not comfortable, they're feeling satisfied, they're upset, they're not like the way things are going. That's the feedback I get. Okay. That is the feedback I get. So it's based on what's happening in our territory, it seems to me out there when you talk to people, they're not satisfied.
Yeah. So customer satisfaction is very low.
It's very low. That's from my feedback.
From your feedback. Okay.
Yes.
But I hope you're not getting complaints from people who are just sitting around waiting for government to do something though. I want to hear complaints from people who are trying to do something for themselves but having a hard time establishing. That's the kind of complaint we want to hear.
There's a cross-section of persons who are complaining, and it means those who are really desperately trying to do something, they're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things in the way.
Yeah,
and then at the same time, it's seemingly there's some persons who don't have to do anything and they're getting through.
Oh. Okay.
So some way is wrong, so at least that's the feedback I'm getting. When I speak to people and I hear the complaints of persons, when I drive persons and they will talk to me, they will say, boy, listen, I tried this, I'm trying this, I went to this place to get it, I'm not getting done, and then this brother told me about this guy who just got this, and it makes you feel bad, because I think everybody should be taken care of.
Yeah. I heard a conversation, and tell me what you think about this. A taxi driver said he was driving two folks in West End the other day, just 2 days ago, and he was listening on a conversation, and they were scheming, Courtney. They were scheming to get a piece of land in Virgin Gorda. They were saying to each other, well, so-and-so in Virgin Gorda, he has the rights now, and he actually owns about 20 acres of land. We could probably buy a piece of land from him, and after a certain amount of years, we could sit on it and just do what we need to do. Now, I think those people...
You remind me of something I want to talk about.
Hold your thought.
The real estate regulations.
Hold your thought.
Okay, I'm going to hold the thought.
Hold your thought.
I'm going to hold the thought.
So, Carla, what do you think, again and again, the problem I hearing on the street is there's too much bureaucracy. There's not enough guidelines when somebody trying to do something, and there's not enough support for BVI lenders. And again, my friend, the BVI lenders I'm talking about don't have to be born here. They're people who have the right, trying to develop business, which in turn help the economy. What do you think? What's going on in this society, brother?
But something interesting when you said that, because I heard about that same conversation, you know. I heard that same conversation.
Wow.
This driver was talking about it. He was talking about the fact that he was driving this person and they were actually behaving like he wasn't present. In the back of his van just going on.
Well, Carla,
form of embarrassment to your country.
What you're talking about is speculation. It's called speculation in the real estate market, and it drives me to the point that I was talking about. We do not have regulations for the real estate people that are operating in our territory. First of all, they need to have a license, and second, there need to be guidelines to stop speculation. Speculation is when I buy a piece of land, say 10 acres of land, for $100,000 and sell each house lot in it for $5 million. That is speculation.
Well, wait.
That needs to stop.
Well, this same caller right here, and I'm gonna put him on the spot. He will recall there was a rally. We ain't gonna just which rally, but it was a rally over by the Sunday morning, the bandstand. And the team who was rallying, running for government, I asked a question to one of the politicians, the prospective politician there, who works in the real estate business, and I brought to their attention that there's a house in Long Bay, just finished building. And now the house is on the market less than a year for $3 or $4 million. Why are we allowing these kind of things to happen? You know what that person said to me? Right. Well, we can't stop them from doing that if they want to do that. We can't stop nobody from putting fence around their gate, around their house. Those are the kind of people we got now running our government. Carla, you remember that?
Yes, I remember. We can stop anything we want because we are the policy makers. The government are the policy makers. And anything we don't want, we can stop it.
Yeah, but Carla, the people don't stop anything until it's time for election. Then we take the government out. We hope for change, but the problem is we don't put people in government who speak the change, who practice the change, and who look for the change. We don't put people in power who are asking the politicians. I see people speculating on this country, and they don't love this country. They're looking at the money. What are you going to do? And then the politician give you some retarded answer like that. Those are the kind of people we put. And I'm not saying those people are bad. Please don't say I say those people are bad. I'm saying in that situation, it wasn't a good answer. And now here we are, more than a year later, complaining about the same thing because it's happening. We got people in this country who just come to rape the country. Of all places, when 2008, 2009, 2010, the worldwide crisis hit, the cost of real estate escalated in the BVI.
Yes.
Escalated, Courtney. Didn't go down. It went up.
We got to get a hold on that land business, brother. That is really putting us in another spot.
How you gonna get a hold on it when every real estate company, except for probably one or two of them, have any type of local investor in it, and the rest of them are owned by foreign countries based in Canada, United States, and France. And now the BVI is being sold on the World Wide Web. People don't even have to visit the BVI anymore. How are we gonna get stopped when we issue licenses and allow people to do that? Tell me, how are we going to stop it? Explain that to me. When you see your politicians, ask them what are they doing about that. And next week, stay tuned, because we're going to slam the banks. These banks, these U.S. banks in this country operating. Say the FDI insured in St. Thomas and Puerto Rico. They're telling us that we need to conform to all the regulations of the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. But yet when it comes for the protection of our money, we don't have that protection. Who's running this country?
Good question.
I'll leave that there till next week. Ladies and gentlemen, Courtney, I pretty much going to wrap up real quick now. Let you do your thing.
Go right ahead.
Folks, I just want to say I'm happy to be back. Yes, I was gone, missing in MIA for about a month. You know, I thought hard about the show, and I love doing this show. I enjoy coming in front of this camera. Yeah, I like attention. My wife told me I like attention. But you know what? I believe that if you don't fight for something, you'll fall for anything. And I ain't falling for anything. And I'm not going to sit around and let people just put things in my head and tell me that's the way it's supposed to be when I know better. And my whole thing, again, this next year going forward, is to dialogue, to be proactive, to bring information that are needed and necessary. If you have a fair exchange of information, just share it. We don't have to be angry and mad at each other because we sit on different ideas and we have a different approach. We could merge our approach together and have a better BVI, and that's what I'm all about. I want BVI where I could live for the next 20, 30 years with the same mentality and same approach that the guys 50 years ago had. And that's my approach. I love this country, and I want to see this country for everybody who call the BVI their home, who work hard to make sure that the BVI is safe, secure, that all our tourists will come here and have a great time, that BVI landers or children, them who born here, whether their mother or father ain't born here, could go forward and call the BVI their home, could go out and represent the BVI and say, I'm proud to be a BVI lander. That's why I come to this show. That's why I fight for what I'm fighting for. So those of you who want to spin, I'm coming at you this year. You want to spin what I say? Review the tape. Those of you that want to go blog foolishness because you don't have no level of intelligence, review the tape and let's dialogue. You can meet me anytime and have a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I like to listen. And with that said, stay tuned next week. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, Sam, we had a good dialogue tonight. We talked about some interesting things, the real estate market. I still ain't get on that jet ski and a motorcycle issue, but next week we'll be back with it. We got some text about the Mustow High School students not being allowed to eat in the classroom. We were able to have some interesting dialogue with some of our texters about a number of issues. We raised a number of issues concerning things that are current in the community and the way things are being done, especially as it relates to people wanting to engage in meaningful business and employ and provide employment and other opportunities in our community. And when I say employment and other opportunities, those people who you see putting up buildings and those people who you see making jobs available for people, they're hiring expatriate people. And yes, we have a 60-40% expatriate local workforce in this country. And yes, all employees here have to pay taxes, they have to buy groceries, they have to pay custom duties, they have to pay wharfage. The government makes money out of all of us, local and expatriate. So yes, they help the country to run, and they help the country to have a better opportunity for the future of the country. So I have no qualm in saying that. I know that this is what happens in our country, and I think more people in our country need to pay attention to the way the country is run. You know, just speaking about it is not enough. You need to really go investigate for yourself. Find out what the revenue, the income that comes into the country, where it comes from, and find out what expenditure is being planned. And that way you'll have a better grip of how the country is run. You probably make better decisions if you figure that out. Sam, now we have we had a very good show. It's nice to see you, and I hope that next week we could have a much more engaging show. We're going to still encourage people to speak their mind more and be much more use that constitution that we have, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and express yourself more. And on that note, I would say God bless these Virgin Islands and the people that live in them, and we'll see you again next week.
Yo, you ain't checking for me no more, man. What going on?
Girl, you're right, man. Things rough right now and ain't getting no better. I gotta cut back how things so expensive.
Wait, you ain't hear Digicel giving away some serious credit? With Digicel, when you top up by $15, you will get $100 free credit. I mean, that's 100 anytime Digicel minutes, free chat all weekend long to your Digicel friends, and unlimited text to any network.
Wow! Now with Digicel, I can save and we can party some more.
Party Rock is in the house tonight.
Your credit lasts longer with Digicel. Now that's something worth partying about.
Everybody just